What's up, everybody? It's Conger Live. We're back again with another TMNT Mutant Madness video. If you don't subscribe, please subscribe. Don't forget to ninja kick that like button, and let's get started. So, right after I released the tier list, it's now about 3 hours ago, according to the site. By the time you watch this, it's probably going to be much more than that. When they released the Season 5, Week 5 hero updates. So as they explained in the Season 5 patch, they were going to use a mid-season update to take a look at some of the changes they made at the start of the season. And overall, the heroes that received nerfs mainly still received heavy levels of play, but the distance between them and other heroes did shrink. So they consider those changes to be successful, but they're going to do some smaller tweaks and fixes. And for the heroes they buffed, they have seen some improvements, but for the most part, they did not reach the levels they were hoping for. So some of those heroes are getting additional buffs, and that has what just happened. And they're also adding some armor buffs as part of this update to increase armor values for a trial run to see how that affects the gameplay. They have a little bit here about how to read the stats. We're going to just skip right over that. So Raphael. Their quote here is, "While we're happy with the direction we took Raphael in the start of the season, those changes did not bring his damage up enough to be competitive with top brawlers. We're removing some extraneous debuffs from his super and giving him a bunch of haste and attack damage. So his side throw base damage increased by 5, and they added inflict negative 75 focus for 3 seconds, which is going to be useful against blaster type characters. Now they removed the inflict negative 40 focus for 6 seconds, but he's now got negative 75 for 3 seconds, and then they've added the effect to inflict reduced focus for 3 extra seconds if at or above 40 strength. So as long as Raphael's strength's above 40, he's going to reduce 75 focus for 6 seconds. So just more damage and more focus reduction there from side throw. Side rush, which is his active. Instead of dealing 30 extra damage to targets at range 1, he's going to do 40 extra damage at his base. So that, of course, scales with level. So he's going to do more damage. And they've now taken away his inflicting slow and negative haste from the enemy, and instead he gains 100 haste. So he does more damage and he attacks faster. But taking away the slow, I'm not sure if that was a smart move or not. We'll see. And then his cool head increases attack, so when he's attacking, instead of 4 extra damage for base, it's 7 extra damage for base, and that of course scales as long as he is at or above 10% defense. So pretty cool. Maybe Raph will get some more viability with this extra rework. I have not leveled him up or taken him up because what they showed us before just didn't seemed quite do what I thought it should. Did have some other players tell me that it did work out really well for them. So hopefully those who love Raph, I love Raph, just not in the game. Maybe he will be more viable now. We'll see. Now Donatello, overall happy with how Donatello is doing after removing the global alertness from his passive at the start of the season. We are doing a small buff by moving some of his alertness down from his level 250 unlock and guaranteeing its activation to make it a bit more accessible. So they've made it to where he gives 10 alertness for 10 seconds with tune-up at level 1, so you don't have to be at 250 for him to give alertness to everybody. And then at 250, instead of giving 30, now only giving 20, so it kind of balances out. They just moved a third of it earlier on, so maybe he'll be more viable. People will continue to like using him. I still use Donatello. I still like using him. I already had him at 250 before these changes, so I'm not sure I'll see much of a difference with that. But hey, that's great for those who love Donatello. Now with April, this was something I had asked about, and may even mention it in another video. They fixed the bug where her skill gave the 15 alertness before checking if her targets were under 25 alertness, making them less likely to receive the bonus alertness. So now they should get the bonus alertness from April. So technically this is a buff for April, not really. It's just fixing the bug. For consistency, April is getting the fix in order to fix the order of her alertness buffs on her super to make it more likely that her bonus alertness will get applied. She is still more powerful than we'd like, but at least this round of buffs in the next planning is that they're going to buff other heroes and not by doing further nerfs. It's so great to hear them say this because doing nerfs is really demoralizing when you spend all this energy into this character and then all of a sudden they're not as good as what you expected them to be. So that's really cool. Couple things to Krang. Now Krang is getting more armor as part of the test run for wider armor changes. Note that due to his passive giving him strength based on his armor, this update also significantly increases his physical damage output. So he goes from gaining 30 armor to gaining 80 armor with his android body, and the increased effect of gaining 10 armor and barrier per 20% health, but gaining 20 armor and barrier for 20% health. So Krang's survivability, even though they did remove the tank roll off of him, he lost a lot of survivability. So now he should have some more of that survivability and maybe even do some more damage output. So for those of you who like using Krang, and I know some people have tested with him, maybe he's going to be much more viable with this. We're going to have to play with him and see. I don't think I even have Krang unlocked. I think Krang is one of those characters that I just never gotten. Yeah, look at that. He's grayed out. So sad. Okay, Super Irma. Now, she has been amazing this week in Mutation, and this is why. They just made her even stronger. So, she does more damage. She inflicts disarm for longer. Look, more damage. Oh, and more damage. And then the repelling force. What's this? More damage. They've increased her damage on like everything. It's insane. And then she also gains more armor, so she has some extra survivability with her metal manipulation. So pretty cool. They don't have any notes, a little quote on Super Irma, just giving her a lot more damage. Really hoping to see blasters become more viable in this new evolving meta. Now, Napoleon also got some reworks before, and it looks like what they're doing here should really help him out. I don't know where my Napoleon is yet, because he's only 3-star, level 1. But they've increased his base damage on his cracked whip, and he's inflicting more negative defense. So he's going to strip that defense away, do some more damage. That's really exciting. And then he also does almost twice as much extra damage with his bully whip. And now the check is at under 20 armor rather than 0 armor. And I think that's because they've increased armor with this update as well, so they wanted to make sure that he still was able to get that bully whip off. All right. And the other punk frog that we have in the game, Genghis. Genghis also got some pretty cool buffs. He reduced his cooldown on heavy chop, so he's going to do that more often, which is great. And with his stance, he gains 80 strength and armor for 5 seconds instead of 30-70 for 4. And then he's going to get more armor, double the armor per enemy at range 1. So when he goes in, he should be have more survivability. We'll see. So he's getting this armor boost a lot right there, but also some extra strength. And reduced cooldown, so more damage output from him as well. And then he also gains extra strength per enemy. Yeah, that's doubled. So pretty exciting for people who like to use Genghis. I was using Genghis on my alternate account. I switched not using him. I might put him back in. We'll see. And Zack, so we're pushing Zack's damage further to see if we can make ranged, energy-based attackers effective in the current meta. So this probably applies to Super Irma as well. They didn't have a quote for her, but basically the same thing. And Zack is also getting the expanded defense cap he always should have had as a skirmisher. So as a skirmisher, his defense cap should be bigger than 50, so they've moved it up to 80. Because what Marshall had explained to me before, it was like 25 bonus or something, so maybe it should have been 75. And I'm like, yeah, let's push it to 80. And then his attack from 7 to 9 for base attack. That's nice. On his neutrino laser tech, which if we go to Zack over here, I believe that is his passive here. Yep. When he does his basic attack, he just does more damage. And if they are stunned, root, or slowed, he does even more damage. So hopefully Zack will become more viable. I know my brother really liked using him way back in the day. When you're kind of climbing in like the 200 range, maybe 300 range in Channel 6, there's a lot of characters that do really well. And I think a lot of these changes for people who are higher up, it's going to make Channel 6 tougher, having to see these characters do more damage. Slash, they just reduced his cooldown, so we're not going to spend much time talking about him. And last but not least, Zorax. Zorax increased the damage and increased his survivability. Basically, his nerf was a bit more impactful than they were expecting, so they're giving him back some damage and survivability in other parts of his kit than where they took it away. So that's really exciting. I like using Zorax. So that's it. What do you guys think about these changes? Do you think they're going to have major effects on this new tier list? I would say that Irma is definitely a B tier now, even though I think we put her in C this last time. I think everybody else is still going to be probably where they're at. Maybe Raphael will move up to a B tier after we do some testing with these changes. Not too sure. Maybe Zack will move up because they've given him some more damage, just not sure. Napoleon as well. I'm pretty excited about what they did with him, but just don't know if it's really going to hold up because some of these top tunes like Donatello and April, even though they didn't exactly get a buff this go around, they still get used quite a bit, and they are getting slightly better with what we have going on here. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Like I said at the beginning, make sure you subscribe, ninja kick that like button, and we'll see you in the next video.